one of the bigger issues that came up during my kids' early days in this whole 80s generation thing was going from my generation, sliding across vinyl with no seatbelts when my father made a left or a right, and impaling my head on the radio selector if he stopped short, or the dashboard, to I like to call it the third world astronaut chair, the child seat that they put these kids in, the play dates, the coddling. I used to have a good friend, he passed recently, my age, and our kids went to school together, and he was directly from Ireland, and he had that incredible Irish sense of humor that's dry, sarcastic. Enda was his name. He was a very, very wonderful guy. And we were talking one day, and both kids were the same age, and he said to me, Pat, it's those goddamn car seats. From the first time we put them in them, we were coddling them, Pat, and it never worked. And I got to tell you, he was right. But I understand why we do it. We're trying to make up with this quality time concept and this coddling concept and this making sure they don't fall and scrape a knee or an elbow because we feel terrible that we're not there in that quantity of time. That's quality time? I don't know. My mom, a lot of people in my generation, always believed they didn't eat enough dirt yet. When the kids fall down enough in the backyard and eat enough dirt, then they start to mature a different way. My son amazed me. He wouldn't ride his bike until he was about 12. He didn't ride the bike, wouldn't ride the bike, wouldn't ride the bike. We had a long stretch at our first house on the side of it. It's about 80 feet long, all grass. It was like a bowling lane. He got on that bike in the backyard and went up and down that 80 feet, falling on the grass every 5 or 6 feet until he learned how to ride that bike, all on his own. Wouldn't let me help him, nothing. So my point being is there is an innate nature to kids that are going to fall, they're going to hurt, they're going to fail, they want to go forward. The concept of coddling, the participation trophy, so all kids feel good, we're just trying to make up for the effect that no one being there whenever they need them had on them. And it's kind of eating the snake's tail. Now we try and make up for it by getting them the best online experience. These kids at 13 need an $800 phone with a $200 a month package? For what? Because we don't want them to be ostracized from the group. We want the participation trophy to keep going. We don't want them falling as they learn how to ride the bike. It's all part and parcel of this new structure to build a consumer. And you feel like once that ball has started to roll for your kids' peers and friends, and you don't want them to be strange and outside of the group because you can't spend the quantity time, not the quality time, the quantity of time to have them evolve through that situation. And this is where all these dangers come together for me. There's too much impact on these young children to carry the society into a better direction. They do appear to me to be in the Temple Grandin mechanism that she beautifully put together to spare those poor animals pain when they were slaughtered. That's my fear, is this mechanism nothing but an incredibly large Temple Grandin slaughterhouse path.
All right, now I'm frightened.
Okay, that's good. There you go.
There we go.
I went to 63 and didn't even realize. You know what it is? Let's talk about Game Boy, baby.
All right, so just go straight to Game Boy.
Yeah, I think, let me just think about this for a second. Okay, you see 64 and 66, the serotonin? Yeah.
Word, please.
So in 64, 66, and 67, I think I'm pounding the shit out of the parents again.
Good, fuck them.
Well, a little bit. I don't want to say that because we both are them. But, yeah, wow. That really is about falling down the bicycle, the less pain
That's
more.
good. That's good.
It's pretty wild.
I know it's cool, but I mean, I don't want to. I hate talking over tape because we're over tape. But most people say the participation trophy is just to build self-esteem, and we fucked up.
It's destroying self-esteem.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a more unique look at it. Well, it's just like, oh, this should make me feel good. Like, no, it make myself feel good because I let you go.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about Game Boy. How did it and other consoles, handheld systems like it affect generations and that they had at their fingertips?
A lot of people think that video games, I don't like the term video games, that's an old term, but it's okay. Electronic games, interactive games, whatever you wish to call them, digital games, they're okay, they're good. A lot of them can be. I actually was on the committee to write up the game design program here at the University I teach at for years. I was on the search committee to hire the first director, hired the second director, all on the search committee, put my time in. I was asked by a local, very prestigious camp to develop their entire game program for 6 summers. Tremendous, it was great, I love it. However, one of the things that I truly, truly believe is that we could use our superpowers for good. When I see my son, who's now 28, 25, maybe I don't think my daughter played anywhere near the way he did. But when I see him on GTA, Grand Theft Auto for the newbies, and I realize that he's killing police and prostitutes to get points, to buy cars and bling and houses and furs and to do whatever, I can't help but not see that as a core problem. If you're getting points to kill prostitutes and police, yeah, you're pretty much the problem right there. A recent article that I thought was amazing stated very clearly two groups of young people, both given guns, obviously real guns, but not able to shoot. The group that had admitted that they played video games on a daily basis, or digital games on a daily basis, they quickly and easily picked up the gun, pointed it, shoot, pulled the trigger numerous times without any hesitation. The group that didn't kind of looked at the object, saw what it was, and put it down. I wasn't there. I don't know if it's true. All I will tell you is it makes a lot of sense that that would happen. I go into a bakery, no one has to tell me what to do. Because I've had years and years of practice at eating baked goods. The same exact case comes into play here. But bigger than that is something called flow. And flow is that positive experience of doing better at a game level. The ability, the physiological, the psychological, and please remember they're always connected. Brain, body, mind, body, personality, they're all connected. Okay? So you're playing a game, you have the hamster tube, maybe you have Egos or whatever it is, Tostinos. You're popping those in, the brain's feeling good. You're doing better in the game, the brain's feeling good. You're taking that hit of the 6,000% sugar Mountain Dew, the brain's feeling really good. That's a flow. That's action, positive back. Action, positive back. That's what psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists describe as the flow mechanism. You break that flow, you're going to get a different response than you hoped for. That flow continues, that's addiction. Game addiction, Tostino's addiction, baked goods addiction. As long as that serotonin is flowing and revigorating, there's a positive flow. You take that and you put it into a little device that they can hold in their hands. Okay, you're exhausted from work. Of course you are. We're working 40, 60, 80 hours a week. Not good. So what do? You give them the Game Boy. You know a little bit that you shouldn't so much, but you give it to them. What happens then? They have the flow that keeps them happy, quiet, and you able to do that extra work that you need to get done. Or go to the store and buy the food or the laundry or whatever chore you have to do. Because those other 60 hours a week, you're working outside of the home. One of you, again, I don't care, mother, father, mother, mother, father, father. I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, if you have a child and you're not able to spend those early 0 to 10, 12, 13, 14 years with them, there's a problem. And it's going to affect the child. Those devices, you put that in their hand, whether it is television, digital games, the reason I focus on games is because, again, it's truly interactive. You immerse yourself into the environment. You create an avatar-like character. They represent you. You live to a different height. This issue of flow and self-esteem and participation trophy, it's big there. It's big in that space. Many things come out of that space. And I think without the ability to overlook on that, it can easily turn quickly to an abusive environment. And like anything, I joke around about my issue with weight. I can go into a Hostess discount store and we got problems. I don't think I'd touch the cash register. I think I'd just be pulling the Twinkies into the bag. Everybody has their addiction. And I believe that these addictions are being formed earlier through obviously poor diet, obviously lack of actually outside, falling on that bicycle in the yard, or in the street, over the yard, and also in that environment of just hitting buttons, putting something in your mouth, seeing something explode. It can't lead to a really, really great growth in the mind. You know, half of the gaming community is going to find me and beat me.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, serotonin, okay.
That was replace. I said 66.
Yeah, replace. I'm going to pick up at replace, David.
Okay.
And then just quickly go to 67 and 69. Wow, this book is starting to make sense.
It might make a good documentary too, if we ever get it recorded. All right, when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm going to go back. Okay. The question is, do these devices actually stimulate and replace the
Can
serotonin?
you start that over?
Yeah. The question of these devices actually generating serotonin really can't be a question anymore. If you do the time and do the studies and look at the statistics, you'll see anytime happiness or an action occurs, we consider to be happiness, is generated by the replacement of serotonin or the creation of serotonin. The question is, do these devices actually do that? Of course. If you've ever watched a kid at a simple game of any nature whatsoever, you're going to see an arcade, anything. You're going to see them jump for joy. Last night, my son and his girlfriend bought a Nintendo for $75 that has all the old games. I never heard so much laughing coming out of the living room. My wife, my daughter, his girlfriend, my son, they were going crazy for about an hour and a half. That's serotonin. Did it replace what other things serotonin would be generated by? Of course. The question is, to what end does this happen? And has it been built in? The gentleman named Tristan Harris, part of Google's team, and also other people from Facebook. And Tristan talks about statistics in Google and Facebook. The timing of releasing the likes, the connection online. Did Apple in iPhone development, has anybody in smartphone development considered certain uses for these devices and how they would generate these different things of serotonin? Of course they have. I've been teaching user experience design for over 20 years. It's all about how the user interacts with the device and the digital environment. It's all geared to less frustration. It's a very famous gentleman, Steve Krug, and the title is Don't Make Me Think. Don't make me. When I saw that title, I was like, oh my God, that's all I want you to do is think. But he's saying that the user doesn't want to have to fight through to learn how to use the app. how to use the smartphone. He's right. And the converse side is game. Game, the user, they want, the developer or the game inventor wants the user to struggle with the game to a point of enjoyment, though. Not struggle to it's so frustrating they don't use it. Same thing with the typical app or online device. There's that balance of holding back and then achieving. And that is what makes games interesting. Apps, not so much. You just want to, you don't want to figure out, okay, I'm on the highway and everything's blocked. Gee, what will I do? That's a different thing. You need to use your apps for less frustration. Gaming, they want to have certain amount of levels, so you have that back and forth of flow. So when they do construct the device itself, and they do construct the content that goes on the device, this whole concept of serotonin, flow, the right kind of achievement is put into play. Jobs consistently in the earliest days of going towards the internet experience, the app experience, the application, the iPhone, the earliest days of this mobile device world, use the word seduce in his presentations so many times. He also had this wonderful statement of the computer being the bicycle of the 20th and 21st century, making man able to move faster than his predecessors. But also he kept inferring that people don't know they want something until they see it. And that was his belief, and that's where I idolized Steve Jobs. But did he fall prey to being the perfect con man? At times, yeah. He was absolutely brilliant. I always wanted to be him. Unfortunately, I look like Woz. But, yep, there was seduction involved.
All right. So 66, and then
Well, that sugar helped.
always does.
That's why they have a crafts table, huh?
That's it.
It is, right?
Yeah, and plus you can always make people do more. Just keep pumping them full of
With
serotonin,
water?
right?
Yeah, well, the crafts table are always junk food, right?
Not always. I mean, there's health, but it's consistently feeding yourself. You know what I mean? So,
I never knew why, to be honest with you. And a very inexpensive way of doing it, huh?
and again, you just keep throwing food at people. They keep working harder, regardless of what the food is. All right, explain iPhones, iPads so attractive to its users. Technology would do that.
Yeah, I kind of. Are gaming and social media apps? Yeah. Well, we could talk directly about mining user data. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go to that. Are games and social media apps mining user data to determine whereabouts, patterns, hours of use, and why is this useful to them?
Okay. Hold on. Then that really segues to social media companies. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay. So, mining the data and why are these companies valued so high directly goes together. Okay, makes sense?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to actually start with the second part. I'm in the same space, right?
Hold on.
Okay.
Feel a little bit more.
Would be smart of me if I had put a piece of clear tape right here, just so I kind of know like that's the spot. Anyhow,
Whenever you're ready.
one of the quotes I like to use in class a lot is the concept that Airbnb owns no hotel rooms, Facebook makes no content, neither does Snapchat or Instagram, and these companies, or Twitter, and these companies are valued at tremendous amounts and are a leading part of the new economy. The question is, how is that possible? Everybody always asks. Twitter has not shown a profit, yet it's valued tremendously. Facebook, I know, is showing a profit. There's absolutely no two ways about it. It has been for years. And the question is why? And how is this digital economy so incredibly larger than the analog economy? Well, very, very simple. Who would need to know When people are online, what are they doing online? What has caught their attention? Marketers. Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Sears, JCPenney, all of the people who sell online need the statistics of when people are online, when they're more likely to stay longer periods of time, when they're more likely to shop, when they're more likely to shop bad in the sense of abuse. When is this going to happen? In typical analog media, you're going to see infomercials at night for things you would never order before. And they may wind up on your doorstep because that was your most vulnerable time. And that's all they're measuring, whether it's a game that you download for free, that you put on your phone and use and use and use, all of that data that's being swiped in the background while you're busy playing this game. On a site, you'll see cookies pop up. Just recently, my son, who's an internet marketing manager, gave a small presentation, hour and something, to my graduate class. It was fantastic. And the thing that I had been thinking about for the longest time, we started talking about, can they actually hear my conversations through the microphone that's on my computer? And that sounds completely insane until he said, yeah, they actually do. And that great photo of Zuckerberg at work with a laptop with tape over his camera and his microphone speakers. Do they absorb what you do, the marketers, the companies who manufacture the games,